afternoon, and welcome to Breaking Fry Bread. I'm Dave. This is Ty. What's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot. What's going on with you, brother?
You know, I'm just living the dream.
Looks like it. It looks like I know it's winter time. I know it's busy time of the year for you and your businesses. You got a marathon coming up.
Yep. I got a lot going on, man. Like I am pushing life to the hilt.
That's good. And you're handling it.
Yeah, I'm having a good time. Cause like, man, I'm in the snow business, so like if I complain when it snows, like I'm an idiot, right? Like, yeah, it's hard work. Yeah, there's gonna be some long hours, but you wait all year for this, So if you complain about it, I mean that's foolish.
It's a good kind of busy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. I'm guessing, when you got fireworks season going on, or you got gooey duck season going on, or whatever. Like I bet it's crazy. You working as many hours as you can to take advantage of the small time that you have, right?
Yep, that small seasonal window that we have. We got to crunch as much, revenue as we can in that small time. So, and problem solve on the run and step in places we normally don't, all of the above.
Yeah, you think about it, man. It's like it's interesting, but the majority of our world kind of works in seasonality. Like you look at every one of the, probably not everyone, but a lot of the Fortune 500 companies are like retail driven businesses, right? You've got Amazon, you've got Macy's, you got Target, you got Walmart, you got, when do all these stores make their profit? They pretty much make their profit from the day before Thanksgiving till the day after Christmas, right? So it's like, what is that, 27 days? They're either going to be profitable or not in 27 days. That is such a short window. You look at the landscape service industry, how many landscapers are out there? They're going to make their money during the summer. You look at all the concrete guys, they're going to make their money during the summer. The asphalt and seal coat guys, they're going to make their money during the summer. Many, many businesses, that really rely on seasonality. And so I think, you really got to know when to push, and you got to know, like, hey, it's okay, right? Like, I'm not going to sleep for a couple of days. That's fine. I'm good. Let's do it, because, this can make our entire year everything that it needs to be. And, I'm guessing it's the same, for you guys when you're running. How long is the fireworks for? What is that, about a week or about 2 weeks?
Typically about 3 weeks.
3 weeks. So you got to smash.
Yeah, for us, it's during COVID, it was wild. If you were prepared with product, you cashed out big time. If you didn't have product on the 4th of July from the COVID year, you were sold out by 8 in the morning.
Wow.
So it's about not being overstocked and having the right amount of inventory, and being prepared ultimately, right? Trying to predict the future, I guess.
Right, you're trying to play that balance. Now, you've done diving, right? You're a diver, right?
Yep, we still dive.
You
Yeah,
still dive. And gooey duck season, I don't know a ton about it, but gooey duck season is a big season, right? Like this is big money.
Not as big as it once was, because the resource is kind of dwindling, but it's still a big business, one way or the other.
So like a gooey duck is like a clam that's just huge, right?
It's the world's largest clam.
Okay, the world's largest clam. And what does one of these clams weigh?
I'd say on average 1 to 3 pounds.
Okay, 1 to 3 pounds. Not all men are created equal. So we sorry, man, I've been up a long time. I gotta have a little fun. But no, seriously. But now, if these are becoming rarer, I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I think that one of my uncles or one of my cousins or something, because like all my uncles and cousins, and like they are all seriously into diving and gooey duck and all that, this stuff goes for like $60 a pound, right? Or is it more now?
Maybe in the retail market,
Okay.
but not, not straight from the dock to the buyer. And it's a supply and demand. It's just like any market. We're usually hovering around 13 to $15 a pound.
Oh wow. Okay, so like $15 a pound. So one clam, if it's a good sized clam, can be worth $45.
Right, on average.
And how long of a season is that?
Year round. Gooey ducking is
Oh,
year
you
round.
can harvest year round. Is there times of the year that are better than others?
Yes, you want to. I mean, you want to kind of time things around the Chinese New Year. If the market's low, you're going to hold out, right? And wait for there to be a more of a demand. Because if there's not much of a demand, obviously the price is going to go down.
Our
So it's just
our Chinese brothers and sisters love the gooey duck, don't they?
that's where 99.9% of our gooey ducks go here from Washington
Wow, that's
over to
crazy.
China.
So we get our fireworks and we give them our gooey ducks.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. So you can pretty much do it any time of year, but there's peaks and whatever. When you're doing gooey ducking, do you have to worry about like red tide and all that kind of stuff, or is that not really a thing?
Red tide is a thing. We can't harvest during red tide, and we have biologists out there that have to take samples on a weekly basis just to make sure the toxin levels are fine. Because we're responsible for that. The other thing is while we do get to harvest all year, we have a quota. So we only get a certain amount of pounds per year. So
Oh,
however we choose to harvest those, you want to spread it out throughout the year, or you want to take it all out, in one punch, while the market's really good. It's kind of up to you.
okay. So you got a quota. Okay, so one of my favorite things in the world used to be going down to my grandparents' house. My grandparents had a house on the peninsula, and it was right on the water. And then we'd go down and we'd dig clams all the time, man. We'd dig butter clams and razor clams, and like the sand was so soft, and you could get maybe in 30 minutes you get a 5-gallon bucket of clams, and we put them on the front porch in some salt water. Their necks come out, and then Grandma cut them bad boys up, make some clam chowder, make some fried clam, all sorts of stuff, and then and that was like all the time. It was like every time we go over, we'd just be harvesting clams and eating clams. And now it's like every single time I look, I don't think in the last decade I've seen a day that it wasn't like red tide or banned from clamming. You know what I mean? Like you can never clam. I mean, I'm sure there are days that sneak in there, but it seems like you can never go clamming.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got to wait for the tides as well, right? You got to wait for a minus tide to get out there.
Yeah, so yeah, absolutely. You got to go early in the morning. You got to get up it's like a fisherman. You got to get up early and dig some holes in the sand. But it's like I don't understand how this red tide is everywhere now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand it a lot. It's just they test the gooey ducks that they harvest, and then if there's toxin levels in them past a certain level, they can't. They'll shut down for the week until
Mm.
the next test comes in, I guess. So
And what happens if you
it's
eat a
just
toxic clam?
I don't even know. I don't know. Probably I assume the worst. A whole nother coronavirus outbreak or something. I don't know.
I was dating this girl, and I must have been like 17 or 18, and we went out for seafood, and she was allergic to clams. She didn't even know it. Had some clam chowder, and bam, I don't see her for a couple days. I'm like, what happened to you? Where'd you go? What happened? And she's like, I didn't know, but I was allergic to clams. My whole face swelled up. My lips were like 15 times the size of my face, and I looked crazy. I had to go to the doctor. I was like, what? You're allergic to clams? Hmm.
That would suck.
Yeah, that would suck, wouldn't it? That would be not cool at all. All right, so I
Yeah.
guess we got enough about clamming and fishing, but make the money while you can, whatever you do. Harvest, get it, get paid, do your thing. I saw you were down in AZ last week.
Yeah.
Scottsdale, right?
Scottsdale. Yeah. We
Scottsdale's a
just took a
beautiful
little.
area.
We love Arizona. You know, it's we try to go once a year. We just went down. We just went down for, a couple days of R&R. Some golf and some good restaurants and check out the nightlife a little bit. Good times.
Huh. Were you doing any wrestling down there or no? You guys just hanging?
Just hanging. My son happened to be wrestling a couple hours away in Tucson, Arizona. And luckily they were filming it, so I was able to watch there live while he was wrestling.
How'd he do?
He actually did really good. He took fifth out of 41 kids, lost a couple close matches, made it to the semifinals, and then yeah, he did great.
One of the and it's gonna come to me. I can't remember the name of the restaurant, and I always remember the name of the restaurant because I send people there, and I've been there like 20 times. But there's a steakhouse down in Arizona. I want to say I can't remember the name. I'm gonna think of the name. It's gonna come back to me. But
It's
it's
Coco Madero.
no, it's not Coco Madera. It starts with an R. It's like I don't know. It's gonna come back to me. I shouldn't forget it if it's one of the best places, but for some reason I'm just forgetting it. But it's literally probably one of the best steakhouses I've ever eaten at in the entire world, and they have a chili on the menu that I don't think is. I love chili. I think it's the best chili I've ever had in my entire life. Like none better ever, and it's right
Like a
down there.
steak chili.
It's like a beef chili. I don't think there's any steak in it, but there's like a beef, but it's got like a little kick to it. It's a meaty beanie chili. It's a good freaking chili. And it's just off the charts. Let's see. I'm gonna Google steakhouses in Phoenix real quick because this is gonna be on my mind. But Stockyards, bam. That's my spot right there. Thank you, Ralph.
Stockyards.
It is like just out of this world, man. It is just out of this world. Yep. Yep. I love it.
That's one of the only things better than a really good steak is a really good chili.
I love chili, man. So there's two places I think that I have found that have the my top two chili places in the world. So anytime I go to a restaurant and there's chili on the menu, I always grab it, right? I'm always going to check out the chili. So I got the Stockyards in Phoenix, which like if I'm on my way to the airport, I will literally order a bowl of chili and I'll just be like, "Hey, put it in a to-go thing. I'm going to grab it down." And then there's a little steakhouse in Grapevine, Texas. So Grapevine is right outside of Dallas. It's in a little strip mall. There's kind of this touristy strip mall, and it's the location right at the very end. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but it's the little steakhouse right on the end, and you walk in, and there's probably 5 or 10 tables. There's a long bar, for drinking and so forth, and then there's an area for dancing, and then tables. And then Willie Nelson, the country singer, is a part owner uh, of this restaurant, the steakhouse. And I'm going to tell you what, man, that chili, I mean, that's the second best chili I've ever had in my entire life. Every time I go to Texas, I make sure to go in there and get a bowl of chili because I love some chili.
You get the cheese and onions on it.
I love the
Sour
cheese.
cream.
I love the cheese. I love the sour cream. I don't always do the onions. Sometimes I do the onions back and forth. But listen, you want to know about the time I won the chili cook-off?
You have your own recipe.
Yeah, this was great. So we have a chili cook-off, right? There's probably like 100 people that participate in this thing. So what I did was I took I can't remember exactly, but I took about 20 cans of Stag chili, the Silverado, and I took that Stag chili, man, and I put it in a pot, and then I added 2 cans of the Dynamite Hot Stag chili. I love the Dynamite Hot Stag chili. And then what I did was I cooked up a whole bunch of beef and a whole bunch of little, little steak, little top sirloin, and then I cooked that all up in the chili. So I added like meat to it, and then bam, everybody was like, "Man, this is the greatest chili I've ever had. This is so good chili, man." I win the chili contest, and it was just Stag chili. And all these people,
cheating,
man, it was totally cheating. But you know what? They didn't say you can't use a can of chili. And Stag makes a good chili, and I did add a bunch of meat to it. But, I mean, like, all these people have all these recipes, secret recipes. They're going around. Crock pots are out, My chili wins. Stag chili. I was thinking to myself, you got a good brand when you can buy it out of the can and it wins. You got all these judges. People out there, this is really good. You really added the spices in there correctly. This is really something special, Mr. Wescott.
You got 20 cans of Stag just sitting right behind you, empty, huh?
That's right, man. Just awesome. just marinating up in the crock pot.
All right, so chili. We love chili. I like my chili in a bread bowl.
I like a bread bowl too.
BJ's restaurant and brewery has a bread bowl chili that I get it every time I go there.
BJ's, you know what? I know this BJ's restaurant. There's a few of these around.
You want a good chili in a bread bowl? Stop by there.
What about clam chowder? Do you like clam chowder?
I love clam chowder too.
I love clam chowder. I love clam chowder, and I like clam chowder in a bread bowl too.
Absolutely. You know, has a really good clam chowder is Emerald Queen Casino.
Do they really?
It's probably the best I've ever had.
Emerald Queen has the best you've ever had? Wow. That's
they have good food.
Do you like a chunky? Do you like a chunky clam chowder, or do you like a watery one?
Hearty.
A hearty.
I like a hearty.
Yeah, me too. You like the red or the white?
White.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I love it, man. I love a good clam chowder. Okay, Emerald Queen. I'm gonna make a mission to go to the Emerald Queen. I'm gonna report back to you on this, and then I'm gonna check out this bread bowl at BJ's. And
report back.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. All right, where else? What else do you like?
Oh, chili wise, I have chili at other restaurants. Nothing really stands out, except for BJ's chili. Actually, some of the best chilies you're gonna have are at some of our powwows and some from our native vendors that are making their own homemade chili for their fry bread and Indian tacos.
When's the next powwow?
There's powwows almost every weekend somewhere.
Oh, really?
As far as here at home, I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up. But you definitely want to get to a powwow and have some of their chili.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm gonna do that for sure. And I like that that native fry bread is good. The Indian tacos are good. The res burgers are good. All right, what's your favorite food? If you're just like your favorite thing to jam on.
I could have Mexican food every day. Literally breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I could do chorizo and eggs for breakfast, maybe some tacos for lunch, and then some carne asada or fajitas for dinner.
You need to hook yourself up with a little Latina.
That's, I might have.
That's a good thing, man. That's a good thing.
The best of both. I got Latina and native.
Oh yeah, that's
the best of both worlds.
That's nice. That's a nice way to do it. Yeah, I like that. So, yeah, because you don't want to go total Latina because they can be pretty tough.
Never go full Latina.
Never go full Latina, man. That's a whole lot of spice. That's a whole lot of tamale. That's funny. That's a whole lot of tamale. That's a whole lot of woman right there, man. Yeah, you need to have a little res dog in it. Speaking of
Yeah,
Res
the res
Dog, we have one more episode that has to come out, don't we?
res ball.
Yeah,
We're excited. I
we
think we
have
need to
one
have.
more.
We're waiting on one more, episode 2, and then I think we need to have Devin Sampson back on the show.
Yeah, we should for sure. Those guys were a
Yeah,
lot of
well,
fun. Those guys, you know what? Actually, all three of them were really intelligent, really like good folks.
yeah, and they're young, and they had, they already had their stuff together and good head on their shoulders,
Yeah,
cultured. But
I
yeah,
think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. I'm a believer in it. All right, so this weekend
uh,
I'm running a marathon.
I was just gonna say, man, I'm excited to see how it goes because your goal is one a month, right, for 12 months,
That's right.
and you've been training. You just ran your first marathon a few months ago, right?
Yep,
But you're training all year for that.
in November 27th. And
Was your
then
first marathon?
that was my first one, and then I ran December 1st. So they were about a month apart, right? And then I ran and then I'm running January 25th or whatever Sunday is. And then I'm going to run the Rock and Roll Marathon. It's an overnight marathon in Vegas. Right? Like with the
Wow.
lights and it starts at night. So like when it gets dark out or whatever, all the streets are shut down. And basically the marathon like runs all through Vegas at night. So it's like supposed to be all lit up. From what I understand, there's a lot of drinking that happens on this marathon. Like they got all sorts of like street vendors that are giving you shots of Fireball instead of, drinks of water. Like it's supposed to be the most wild party marathon, and I'm not, I don't drink, so that fire water is bad for me. But I mean, I'm just like that's an experience. Like I'm just like, man, this is gonna be crazy.
And how far is a marathon? Is that 26 miles or 23?
26.2.
So they're going to be feeding people alcohol while they're running 26 miles.
I'm
That's
gonna
wild.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I ran the Marine Corps marathon, when we hit about mile, I'm just gonna guess about mile 20, there was a gauntlet. They call it a gauntlet that we ran through. This gauntlet was probably 2.5 or 3 miles. And I would say there was probably 25 or 30 street vendors on the side of either sides. Like you ran up and then you ran down one side. And I would say there was probably 25 or 30 street vendors out there. And there was like many people serving Fireball, vodka, shots, Jello shots. Like they were like, "Hey, you're at the end, celebrate with a shot," Like, and there was a lot of people just, taking a little pull. I don't think it's healthy to do I mean, like miles 1 through 20, probably don't want to start there, but, like, I mean, there was a lot of people drinking. Like, I think it was, and what I noticed too was that like at mile 20, a lot of people stopped running. Like I would say, I don't know, 50% of people stopped running and just kind of walked in. Like they beat the bridge. That's what you had to do is you had to beat the bridge by a certain time or you couldn't finish. They got across the bridge. They had worked hard to get there. And then they just kind of, took it easy.
For 6 miles, that's still, I mean, I'm trying to wrap my head around 26 miles, let alone, 6 miles. So I think the biggest run I've ever done was a 10K, which I think is like 6 point something miles.
Yeah, that's still a good run.
Well, this is when I was a healthy 15, 16-year-old teenager. And it was still very tough. So trying to wrap my head around running 26 miles and you make it seem like, they ran for the first 20. And I'm like, 20 miles? Like I'm walking at least 19 of those,
Listen, Ralph might run a marathon with me.
He's trying to convince me, Ty. He's trying to convince
What's
me.
your average mile pace? What's your average
Um,
mile look like?
Dave's or mine, because mine's about an hour and a half right now.
okay, so I did 3 miles on I think last Friday. I think I posted it on Facebook, and I was at like 9:31 a mile. And so like that's pretty good, you know.
That's very solid. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
How
I'm
long can you sustain that? Can you hold that pace for 5 miles, 10 miles, or does it turn into like a slow kind of jog after a while?
it depends on the pain level, like how I'm doing pain wise, because it's like you know, my depending on how my back's doing, whatever. But I would say that I could maintain that pace for somewhere between 6 to 9 miles.
Depending on how hard you want to push.
Yeah, like I could get 6 to 9. I think like I've had really good runs at 9, but I did 20 miles in Vale, and I was doing 11-minute miles. So that's
Yeah,
probably my best run. I did New York. I did 5 miles in 52 minutes in New York. So like I've had some, but I'll say like the run that I did in Vale, 20 miles, 11 minutes a mile, like that was probably the best run I ever did. And I would say that after I did that run, I pushed so hard that I declined probably for about 2 months. I couldn't get back. Like my times went to 16, 17 minutes a mile, even on 5 mile runs after that. And one of the things I learned, which I didn't know, was that, you know, when you run a full marathon, a full 26 miles, and 20 is close enough, right? Like, but it takes your body a full 30 to 45 days to recover from the cell damage and the muscle damage that you do to your body. So, like, I'm training for a marathon. I go out and knock out 20 miles. Like, you know, that's shooting your wad a little early. You know what I mean? Like, and they tell you to do that, but at the end of the day, like, I probably would have been a little better off. You know, had I maybe just done 16 or 17, I probably would have been a little fresher for the marathon itself. When I run this marathon, I want to be between 15 and 16 minutes a mile. That's where I want to be. And I want my first miles to be at like, you know, like 15 minutes a mile, 16 minutes a mile. Like I want to really try to control my pace out of the gate. Uh, you know, one of the things I notice is that when the adrenaline is going and you've got thousands of people around you, like when I ran Seattle, like my first miles were like 9 minutes, 11 minutes, you know. And the thing is that once you get up there in mileage, or you encounter a couple of hills, like Seattle's got a lot of hills, so you get into some big hills, and now you're walking up the hills, or now you're, you know, like you're hurting along the way. So I think controlling the pace and keeping that, like you said, like a light jog that's just comfortable in the beginning is really important, so that you reserve your energy for what you've got to go through at mile 18 and mile 20 and mile 23. You know, a lot of people say the marathon doesn't start until mile 23, you know, and there's a lot of truth to that. You know, am I going to make it? Am I going to be able to push through? So I think it's like life, man. It's like parenting, right? We're going to have tough moments. You know, we don't want to go all in all the time. You know, it's like business. Got to pace ourselves. You know,
Yeah.
we can't work 80-hour weeks every week. We can do it once in a while, but we can't do it every week. So, like, one thing marathon running has taught me is that just you know, like in anything, we need to have a good pace.
It's not a sprint. It's a marathon.
That's right.
Right. So
That's right. And some of these guys sprint the marathon, and I don't know, you know, like these guys who get like 2 hours, and I don't know, Ralph could probably Google the fastest marathon time, but I want to say it's like something like 2 hours and 11 minutes.
That's just crazy to me. That's some David Goggins time right there.
Yeah, man, it's what is it, Ralph?
2 hours and 35 seconds.
Oh, that's a new world record.
Yeah.
It just got
That was
broken
in
this
December
year.
of 2024. That was
December.
just,
Yeah, so it just happened.
yeah, it just happened.
2 hours and 35 seconds.
Wow.
That's like 7-minute miles, bro.
That's unheard of.
For 26 miles.
How long does it take you to run the marathon?
Well, you know, when I did when I did when I did Washington D.C., man, like I was struggling. I mean, my back seized up on me at like mile 4. So, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I was at 6 hours and 34 minutes. That guy
Hey.
could have ran 75 miles in the time that I did mine.
But you finished it.
Yeah, that's right.
finished it,
I
and that's
finished
the
it, right?
important
Yeah, I
thing.
finished it, right? So like and I wasn't last place either. Like there was a lot of people who came in after me, you know? Like I would say I was definitely at the tail end for sure, like you know, but I'm proud of myself, man, cuz I mean, I'll tell you that, you know, out of the I don't know how many people were there, 20,000 people, like how many of them were over 300 pounds? You know what,
Yeah.
less than 100?
Yeah, I'm just, 26 miles is a lot. That's like, just for reference, it's like Spanaway to Seattle. It's like running from Spanaway, Washington to the University of Washington in Seattle.
Yeah.
Like, takes me 45 minutes to drive there, you know?
It's no
I get
joke.
tired driving to Seattle. I can't imagine walking or running. So kudos to you, brother.
Yeah, man, I'm going for it, and that's kind of like my preparation because in 2026, I want to do a 100-mile ultra marathon.
That can't be in one day, right? That's got to be spread over.
That's 100 miles in 24 hours.
Wow, where do they hold these at?
They hold them all over. There's one in Mount Si in April. That's an ultra marathon, and I'm gonna try a 50K this year, 50 kilometers, which is like 31 miles or something. So I'm gonna try that as like my big as a big run. And but my goal in 2026 is to do an ultra marathon.
That's wild.
I've talked to a few people, you know, about this ultra marathon, and the biggest thing that they've said is like, I mean, 24 hours and 100 miles is like 15 minutes a mile, right? Roughly. So it's like, it's not a super fast pace you have to maintain to get there. It's just maintaining the pace for 24 hours, but it's more of an eating marathon than anything. Like just the amount of food you have to put in your body to do that, to manage the calories, you know, because it's like a marathon might burn 9 or 10,000 calories. So, you know, this might burn 40,000 calories on your 100-mile run. And, you know, man, you gotta be geared in for that. Right. So
Yeah, you got to be hydrated. You have to have your calories that you have to be putting calories in so that you can use your calories. So yeah, it's a lot.
it's no joke. So that's my goal, man. 2026 100-mile ultra marathon.
That's wild. You're gonna do it though. I don't doubt it for a second. So
I need to get a couple of people to come with me.
I'm gonna start with a mile, and then we'll go from there. In the gym,
There you go.
and then check in with me. Every couple episodes, and we'll see where I'm at.
You know, if you add a mile a week, you'd be at 52 miles in a year.
That's more than a 50K.
Yeah, I know.
I'd be halfway there.
You would be. It's like 75. 75 miles, something. I don't know. There's no true news. Like, in my opinion, the news should, you know, um, share the facts, but only the facts without the spin, right? There's columnists who write opinion columns that can slant the news however they want, right? Like that's their bias, that's their prerogative. But I think the news should be just the facts. And the fact is that it's not the facts because we should be given the facts and then we should take that information back and make up our own mind and our own decision and do our own research and our own education. But there's so much money in the news that the truth about the news, man, is it's as real as a TV show, right? Like it's just all a bunch of garbage because how much money are they making by keeping people attached to the television? Like it's the most watched thing, right? All the time. It doesn't matter if it's CNN, C-SPAN, MSNBC, Fox News, Newsmax. Like it's all just a reality TV show at the end of the day. And I would love for news to be news. Like the newspaper is the newspaper. These are the facts. This is what was said. This was the repercussion. Go make up your own opinion. And then let's listen to the columnists or the opinions of the different parties. But there is no middle ground to say this is the balancing beam or this is the compass that's holding the knowledge straight. Like if you watch Fox News every day, you're going to be inundated. And like, I have to tell like people I know, like, man, listen, don't go too far right because it's so out there that it's nuts. Like, don't go nuts. Like, don't dissolve your citizenship of the United States and not pay taxes. And, like, don't go down this crazy Captain Insano path. But then also don't go so far left that you're a whack job. You know what I mean? Like, listen to the facts, seek them out. The truth will set you free and make the decision that best aligns with your values.
You said it best. I couldn't say it much better than that. If I wish the news would just give the facts.
Yeah.
Let me make my own decision. Instead, I got to watch Fox reporting on the same incident. Then I got to watch CNN, and I got to find, okay, here's the BS. Here's the BS. Now, how do we match it in the middle? What are the facts? Is there even a news company out there that gives facts?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But I think like Wall Street Journal used to be, New York Times used to be, USA Today used to be. But I think what happens, man, is that the facts don't sell. Like if you and I are sitting here telling stories and I've got this really cool true story that happened to me where I went fishing and I caught a couple of fish and it was a fun time and I hung out with my family and we had a great time and I tell you that story, like, okay, that's good. But what happens now is in the storyteller's mind, that story wasn't good enough. So now we had to interject a storm and we almost died and there was 2 sharks that almost came and took us off the boat and, blah, blah, blah. Like it's got to be the story. We got to juice it up because we want to sell because we're always selling when the original story was just good enough. Right? Like it was a good enough story, just how it was. We didn't have to add. And I think that the news has to sell. Like, how do you pay guys like Tucker Carlson so much money? Like, this is just a pet peeve of mine, but like, you look at the stuff that Tucker Carlson said about Trump behind doors, right? That's bad. Right? And then, like, you look at his contract and it's like, it's entertainment, right? So I don't know. Does Tucker Carlson actually believe what he is saying? Like, is he actually a conservative or is he just playing a part on TV as an actor to make money and be rich and famous and, or is it lies? Like, I don't know, but I can tell you that after that came out, like, I don't trust Tucker Carlson and I don't want to watch his show because I don't know. Like, I want to believe that he is for the right and I want to believe that he is supporting Trump. But when you hear him cuss Trump, or then text messages bad about Trump or whatever, and I don't know if that stuff's real or not. So like, don't judge me on it. But I'm just looking at what I see, and I see an actor who's getting a big fat paycheck for the most watched show in America. I don't see somebody who's really standing up for what they believe after what I saw. That's just my opinion.
And I didn't hear those tapes or whatever, but that sounds, coming from somebody who is conservative, you're speaking facts. You just want to see real.
Yeah, the facts that I know. Like, I could be telling the story completely wrong. And listen, there's stories like this on the left too. I just want you to be honest with me. Like, if the sky's blue, just tell me it's blue. Don't tell me it's purple.
Do you dabble in the crypto at all? The crypto world? I'm thinking about getting into it. A lot of my friends are encouraging me to get into some XRP or some of these little penny cryptos going on. I don't know.
I got into crypto, and I put like $5,000 into crypto, like I don't know, probably a decade ago, maybe about a decade ago, and that
left it alone.
And that $5,000 shot up to like 35,000 or something like that, and so then I put in another $8,000. I had like 13,000 into this thing, and at some point this thing shoots up to like 200,000, right? And it's just through the roof, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing I've ever done in my life. And then like overnight, it just crashed, and I was down to, and I lost like everything out of it. And the only thing left in my account was $3,000. And so I pulled the $3,000 out and said, I'm done. And I took the $10,000 loss. And that's when, that crypto was just doing this, right? And I was, and so I bailed out of it. So I haven't ever gone back in since then. But I mean, it's a lot different now, I think, than it was 10 years ago. Like 10 years ago, it was just like coming out. It was kind of maybe more risky.
New.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. And it was just so volatile. Maybe it's kind of toned itself down a little bit, but that was my experience. I'm not against it. I think it's good. I think there's good, like there's some crypto that's registered on the stock exchange now, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I think wherever you put your money, look at it, look at the interest rate, watch it, and what's going to give you the most return on your money. Is it going to be putting it into real estate? Is it going to be putting it into the stock market? Is it good to put it into a Flourish account? Is it good to do mutual funds? But wherever you put your money, my thought is this: if I'm going to bet on somebody, I'm going to bet on me. So I want to put my money into a position where I can leverage it to make it grow as much as possible.
10x, right?
That's what I'm going for, man. 10x. And for all you listening out there, save every one of those per capita checks.
Invest it.
I just got a whole bunch of boos. I actually felt them. All right, man.
When are per caps coming out, man?
When are per caps coming out?
Yeah, when's the next per cap?
Dog, I don't even know, man. I don't even know. I don't even know when per capital comes out. Like, I just found out the other day you can get a direct deposit into your bank account. I think I learned that from you on the show. Like, I still get a paper check.
Get that direct deposit going.
I know. I can be then I can be a Puyallup anywhere. Not just in King and Pierce County. No, that's too much.
I'm excited for your trip tomorrow, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna blast it on the social media. We'll see how it's doing out there. But this show's been a lot of fun. I mean, we've covered a lot of topics today. This has been a good roll today. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, we get into politics, we can do a whole series on that, so that's fun stuff.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Just the facts. We need a new podcast. It's just the facts.
Just the facts. Bam. And they'll say, how have you skewed the facts? All right. It's time to roll out, isn't it? It's time to bring this in for a landing. All right. If you're out there, check us out. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, I don't know, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere it's social. We're both hanging out. Give us a like, give us a share, drop your comments in the comment box. What else do you got, Ty? What close us out, brother?
You know, we want to hear from the audience, you know, comments, give us some topic ideas. You know, we like to just come on here and shoot from the hip. I think it makes the best show, but we do want to hear from the audience and, you know, give us some topic ideas, some things you want to hear discussed. You know, that always helps.
Yeah, we'll rip it out there for sure. We'll uncover every stone.
If you want to be a guest on the show, hit us up too.
Yeah, I'd like to at some point discuss what happens if you take a body, chop it up, and drop it into crab pots.
Hypothetically.
I'm totally kidding.
For legal
I'm
purposes.
joking. Listen, like,
Hypothetically.
you know what it's like when we said, "Hey, what do we want the audience to talk about?" You know, it's like when Siri or Alexa first came out. You know, and everybody's like, "Hey, where do I bury the body? Hey, where do I do this?" You know, because you never know what comment might come out of the woodwork.
Yeah. That's wild. You need some pretty big crab pots for that. But
Or a sawzall.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically. All right, we're ending it there. We might have to cut this part out. I don't know. But listen, brother, we'll see you in 2 weeks. And I'll enjoy and be looking forward to our next show.
me too. As always, you know, good to see you guys. Safe travels.
Yes, sir.
I'll be keeping an eye on your progress on that marathon, and I'm excited for you.
Thank you, brother.
And yeah. Until next time.
Adios.
Hoi.
Well, hey.